I have no idea how equipped I am to discuss this sort of stuff when I wake up, or I just live life the way that I can or believe or has been instilled in me by my parents, my grandparents, my friends, my wife, her family, you guys, my colleagues at work, who I've worked with, who I've been alongside, Stuart Scott, Michael Irvin, Marshall Falk, Warren Sapp, naming people of color, obviously, because hey man, the number of times I've learned something from Stuart because my upbringing, being a New York Jew,
totally
was
different.
so different from his.
Same.
Whether it was, what is that lyric? And then him turning to me and basically saying, what is that line? I'll tell that story a million times, and I'll tell it again.
It's great.
Yep.
And this is obviously apropos of our relationship and what we were doing, and obviously not even remotely as close to the level of importance of what's happening in our society right now in the discussion arena. But it is indicative of experiences and not knowing the other person's experiences and assuming your experience is the only experience, or your experience is the most prominent experience, and not understanding the others is equally as prominent to them, if not more so than yours. Stuart, as we all know, would have catchphrases from rap music, from the world of hip-hop music, totally lost on me. I'm not going to lie.
Even if it was from the Wu-Tang?
I may even from
Staten Island.
Yes,
you would
even
know. Even
from the North Shore of Staten Island, where I grew up. I'm from the middle of the island. Just again, a perfect example. As the crow flies, maybe a couple miles, maybe 3 miles. But yeah. And totally lost on me. And I would kind of turn to him and just say, what was that? You know, what just because I want to know. You know, I know he's making a reference.
Right.
It went totally over my head. And the number of people that would complain about it, that would call in or write because they thought they were being excluded. They knew, white people knew they were being excluded from the pop culture reference of the show that they love to watch because it plugged into their pop culture frame of reference. And here's Stuart talking in a manner that they felt was purposefully exclusionary as opposed to being inclusionary for an audience that was different than yours.
Yep.
And Stuart would be like, to hell with that. I'm going to use this line. I'm going to use that line. And then people would be stunned that he actually used a line from Shakespeare, as if Shakespeare was beyond.
I loved when he threw lyrics in like that. I loved it.
You know, sound and fury signifying nothing.
To me, that was
He
great.
would use that, okay, at any rate. So one day I make a reference, a Seinfeld reference. Because this is, you know, the mid to late 90s. I make a Seinfeld reference, go to break. People on the set laugh. Everybody laughs. I'm feeling good about myself. Just made a funny that I thought landed. Stu turns to me, he goes, what was that? And I'm like, that was Seinfeld. Like that. And he went literally like, brothers don't watch Seinfeld. And I honestly sat there and I'm like, okay. I understand.
Right.
I totally understand that. And this may be why it worked so well with Stu and I, is that I brought my frame of reference and upbringing And he brought his frame of reference and upbringing, and we did it together in a manner which we respected and loved one another. May he rest in peace, this man. I really wonder what he would be thinking today. And the reason why I'm getting all emotional is you want to talk about love for another human being. He watched me, meet my wife and court my wife, and he was there for me every step of the way. And he knew sometimes is when you meet people and meet one another, and sometimes it takes a while for a relationship to happen, and just it did for my wife and I, and we have 3 beautiful children now. And I just remember, I don't know why this is coming to me right now, on our wedding day, Stuart, there's a picture of Stuart holding my hand in this wedding ring that's on my finger right now, and kind of looking at me like, we did it. We did it. And I'm white, he's black. And the world keeps spinning. And I want this world to be a great place for my children and for his 2 beautiful daughters and his family. And I didn't expect to go on this conversation today on this Jag. But I kind of feel it's important as we try to find common ground and try and find a time where, right now it's not the moment, where people can kneel during the national anthem and people don't look at them cross-eyed because they feel that they're being disrespectful, and that somebody who stands at attention and puts their hand over their chest isn't viewed as being ignorant of the person who's kneeling experience. If we can get there.